Season 3. Season 1 is a wrap, Roberto.
It is. I love season one.
So
I'm a
let's
big
go.
fan of season one.
I am too. I'll be a bigger fan of season 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Um,
Correct.
top 3 moments. Speed round.
Wow. Wow, wow. Top three moments. Such a fun-filled season. I am going to start with a funny moment because, well, I feel like laughing a little bit. And this moment happened during the Tracy Bonham episode,
Mm.
where, for reasons that I've still yet to figure out, the screen when we do this, and people know I think we record this via video and then only release the audio. But sometimes the screen gets a little funky. It goes out, it comes back. And when it comes back, there's sometimes scenery involved. And in this case, your head was floating on some steps
A cement.
behind
Cement
a
steps.
cement steps, yeah, in front of with and had a whole bunch of bushes and forest behind it, and you were just this ridiculous floating head, and Tracy was like, "Hey, you just became a cat." It was like hilarious, and
Ridiculous.
yeah, that every time I think about it, I crack up.
It's
So
happened.
I'm starting there. Yeah.
Yeah. I will join you in the comedy realm. There was that point that when we were interviewing Jeff Whalen from Czar, and
Hmm.
you had shitty reception, you had to walk around, and
I know where this is going.
yeah, exactly. Somehow, before you started walking around, we started talking about, pardon me, how Czar had been pointed or sounded like a little bit like glam, and then you're walking around, and then Jeff says, it looks like I'm watching a found footage film, which is, if you've ever seen a found footage film, they're fucking hysterical. They're kind of really. Blair Witch Project is a fine example. But then when you got back and you came back, and somehow, and I don't remember the exact wording, but somehow you said Czar got placed in the glam bucket. And, and Jeff and I are continuing to laugh, and Jeff's like, oh, that was almost our name. You know, glam, which is
uh,
weird.
I had a moment. I think we've all had these moments. I was in an well, not unfamiliar. I was in my mom's house in Brooklyn, but unfamiliar as far as doing the podcast. So I was trying to find a room in the house that I could have some quiet in, but I was getting shitty reception where I started. So now I'm walking around trying to find a better place. And we were talking about the style of music, and they have a glam rock element. And I went to say, I don't know, I probably meant to say, glam rock genre or glam music. I don't know. And Bucket came out. I don't know where it came from, but
Uh,
Jeff took it and ran with it.
yeah,
And he was totally justified for doing this, so because it's a ridiculous term that is still very funny.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the next one? Top three.
Um,
That's one down.
Top three. That's one. Top three. Top three. So the second one I'm gonna pick is not necessarily a comedic one, but more of an overall vibe of a show, because I just really loved it. I love this guest. It was Christian from Unified Theory, and live when we interviewed him because his interactions with us, his genuine conversation, his love for music, and his just his overall vibe. I was like, wow, I felt like I knew him,
Mhm.
for a really long time,
Right.
and we were having just this great musical conversation. And it dawned on me like this is good. This is something that every music fan should listen to. Like just listen to this guy. And that episode stuck with me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. That was a really really nice, just easy episode. It was smooth. I appreciated his honesty, his transparency, his overall vibe. I mean, like you said, he just was. Yeah, it was just really. It's hard to connect to people digitally through Skype, through anything, but it was a nice connection that we all had, and we just sat around talking about music.
Yeah,
It was probably one of the more. It was just an easy conversation among
it
three
was.
like-minded people, and he was very candid. It was
Yeah,
wonderful. You know?
it was,
Yeah.
and it was something that doing season, going through the season and all the ups and downs of the behind the scenes stuff and getting it done. I never want to lose sight of that's why we do it. You know, having these great conversations with really cool artists and making it feel like, we're doing something cool. And that episode reminds me of that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Last one.
Last one. So we've got a funny one. We've got a serious one. Okay, so my last one, and there's so many to choose from, but I love the fact that we get to learn a lot from these artists and these musicians, and we think we know everything that's going on. We do our research. We're fans to begin with, but the one we did with Vaden Todd Lewis of the Toadies sticks out because I'm a big fan, and that's pretty obvious. And always think I know what's going on with the bands I follow. And it was just a really cool moment when Vaden told us that he had created a comic book and illustrated a comic book about songs from his Toadies catalog. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know about it. And then I immediately went and bought one.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool thing to learn about an artist that, I've been following for a really long time.
Oh, for sure. And my last one, I'm going to go down to episode number 1. I had written, which is about the band Broken Homes. I won't go into great detail because I've prattled far too often about that band. But I'd written something, and somebody had contacted me. This guy Don Harvey, and he had said, I'm the drummer on the band, I'm the drummer on that record. I'm like, okay. He wasn't the drummer of the band, and then I went and I checked my LP, which for those who don't know stands for long playing, my LP, and I looked at the back, and sure enough, way down, buried in there, was his name. And I responded and said, thanks for writing. And I've had this idea for a while to want to do a podcast like this, and I knew the first episode was always going to be on Broken Homes. So that's seriously one of my favorite records. And I said, would you be interested in talking about it? I'm like, okay, all right, no, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm gonna move on with this. And he's like, yeah, sure. And then he followed up by saying, are you going to get in touch with Craig or Jimmy? Or Craig Ross, who's the guitar player, and Jimmy Ashurst, who's the bass player. And I was like, this is all over email. This wasn't any other way. So I thought to myself, I hadn't really thought about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to reach out to him. That was my reply. And I did. I follow them both on social media. I contacted Craig on Instagram, and he literally got back to me within 5 minutes and said, yeah, I'd love to talk about it. It's a great record. And I reached out to Jimmy. Jimmy didn't get back to me right away. So I set everything up and got ready to go. And then we were recording on Sunday. That Friday, I was like, well, let me just look up the producer and see what the fuck that's all about. Found his website, and I'm like, I know it's short notice, but whatever. I sent him an email, and he got back to me rather quickly. He's like, yeah, I'd love to do it. What time on Sunday? He goes, I'm in Greece, so I'm about 7 hours ahead of you. And I'm on vacation. He's on vacation in Greece, and he wants to dial in to talk to. And it was a great conversation. The guys couldn't have been nicer. We eventually did get to talk to Jimmy a little bit later.
We did.
Who was
so much fun,
just wildly engaging, and it's just a very funny man. So that was, that is probably, one of my favorite moments, because it led me to believe that, well, okay, this is something. This might be something.
Yeah. It's just a great, universal line, and everything worked. And when you get to start that way, I think there's, some good things ahead. And plowing through this first season and getting the guests that we did, we're lucky enough to get. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better situation.
No, we've been very lucky. I'm loath to use the word blessed because I don't know what that means. We've been very lucky. People have been very gracious with their time and their stories and their energy. It's been fucking great. I mean, it's the people have been wonderful. the people that have helped out too. Like, right,
It's hard to do this alone. There's a lot of stuff that you and I do that no one ever gets to see or hear about because that's not the point. The point is the show. But yeah, it's everybody's contribution is very much appreciated.
Sure. We built our own studio, Thunder Love Studios, which is here in New Haven, Connecticut. We've got a terrific, as you can see, sound setup.
Yeah.
Well,
and everything has to start somewhere. And I believe, I don't know if we can say this or not, but there's going to be a little bit of a branch off to Thunder Love Cafe.
There is, yeah. We've built a cafe
that's in the works.
Right off to the side of the studio, that's open to the public. So, yeah, it's the Thunder Love is coming alive, man. There's no stopping us.
No. There's certainly stuff in the universe floating around Thunder Love, and Rufus is probably the main cog in that wheel. So we cannot end this little recap without thanking Rufus.
No. Without Rufus, none of this is possible.
Zero, and he'll tell you in his own way.
He'll be the first. He'll be the first to tell you. Yeah. All right, so season 2 we got coming up. And we got some great shit coming up in season 2. We kicked it off. We came out of the gate hot with Bleeding Hearts and the story of that record and Bob Stinson, founder of The Replacements.
Yes. Any Replacements fan needs to listen to that episode and listen to the Bleeding Hearts record.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And there's a story, like I said, there's a story behind the story there, right? There's a famous story from 1993 Spin Magazine that really torpedoed the band's career.
Yep.
And if you find the article, read it, you'll understand why. But yeah, you're right. Any Replacements fan should, and I am one.
You are,
and
you're a very, very big Replacements fan.
I am. And let's see, we've got Shoes coming up. Great power pop, landmark, benchmark, critical band of power pop. I don't know how we call that. So
either mark.
Huh?
Either mark is fine.
Yes.
Benchmark, landmark, yeah.
Yeah, and excited about that. And we've got some other stuff queued up. That
we do.
Not quite confirmed, but soon to be confirmed.
Yeah, it is not in the confirmed bucket, as they say.
No.
It is on its way. It is in the almost confirmed bucket, but we will only use that term when it's confirmed.
We've got feelers out to Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton.
That's right.
Yes, yeah. We're just waiting to hear back. We're waiting to hear back.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Technically, the feelers are out to anyone and everyone. Yeah. This is a feeler.
I'm sure I'll come to regret that. I have no doubt I'll come to regret that. But yeah, we got lots of good stuff coming up. As something else that I think we'll announce in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, very exciting, very exciting. So if you are a fan of what we're doing here, then stay tuned for that next announcement because it's pretty special.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of music at all, I don't have a follow-up to that. That just sort of ends right there. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Sounded like there was something else.
There should have been something following that, but I had nothing.
So if you're a fan of music at all, I think you will continue to like abandoned albums, and you might want to stay tuned to the announcement because there's another music-related announcement coming.
Yeah.
So, fan of music at all.
There we go.
At all.
At all.
ETC. Yeah.
ETAL. So, find us on the socials. Read our shit individually. Read our shit together. That's just Rob. You do the promo stuff. I can't do that.
Oh well, it's very simple. I mean, the internets are easy to navigate these days. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Soon to be a few others. We'll talk about that maybe in the next announcement. But all you've got to do is look for abandoned albums, and you will find it. And sometimes there's an underscore, sometimes there's not. You just Google the thing, and you're going to find it all. And you can go to abandonedalbums.com, where everything is already listed, and you just click the icon, and you're there. Generation Riff Shivvers.com also has a link to Abandoned Albums. There's no excuse.
And there's a link to Generation Rip from Abandoned Albums.
Correct.
You can find our shit, and you should see it, and you should listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds aggressive. I don't want to be aggressive. I'm not an
Well, no, but our tagline is aggressive.
What's that? What is our tagline?
The only podcast that matters.
Oh, the only music podcast that matters. Right. Even I fucking forgot that.
Yeah, and that's pretty aggressive, but it's fucking true.
And maybe we should throw this out there for anyone who watches this. The first person to guess where that tagline came from, we'll send them a t-shirt.
I like that. So where do they guess? Where do they give the answer? We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I would probably say comments on the socials anywhere, right?
Yeah, everything's timestamped.
Yeah, so, and I don't. Yeah, everything is timestamped there, right? Yeah, yeah. And
everything's timestamped.
Yeah, and yeah.
It's a good question. It's a good little giveaway, and I think music fans should know the answer to it. So let's see. Let's test the knowledge.
So just to recap, free t-shirt to anybody who can guess where the tagline, where we pinched the tagline, the only music podcast that matters. Where did we get that? I mean, we're good, but we didn't write it. The only thing we did was manipulated the words a little bit. So the first person to get it right, our emails are on the website. Go to abandonedalbums.com. You can find our emails there. Everything is timestamped. Reply social media, Twitter or Instagram. Email us. Whoever gets it first gets a free t-shirt.
I like that.
Cool.
We're generous too.
Yeah, well, there is that. All right, good. Season 1. Stay tuned for Season 2. We're excited.
Yes. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for sharing the love from Abandoned Albums, and keep listening and get ready for Season 2.
Thanks, man.